I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. Now, today I really want to talk about, right? Now that price of Bitcoin has hit almost 9,000, what should be the plan to do, right? Now, first, I want to talk about there are few possibilities, of course, right? There are people who said that it will end the year at 20,000 or even above 20,000, which is the previous peak at 30,000. Or there are even some people calling for the peak at 9,000 and then it will go back down to 6,000 level, right? Now, regardless of the price, I just want to say my personal opinion, not financial advice, is that if you are not even in this game, I think, right, and if without even considering anything else, you should definitely have some Bitcoin first. That's the first and foremost, yeah. And how much Bitcoin should you own then, if you're saying, and should you buy in now? That's all these questions I want to talk about. Now, I think definitely, right, at least 1% of your total net worth. What is total net worth? Net worth is basically all your assets, right, minus all your liabilities. Assets is basically, all your cash flows, all your deposits, all your stocks, right? Minus liabilities. Liabilities is all your loans, all your things that you have to pay off, right? That then is your net worth. Then 1% of that, you can then allocate 1% of that. Of course, there is still a percentage chance, right? That 1% investment in Bitcoin can go to zero, right? In fact, any investments has that possibility as well, right? No one can guarantee anything, right? But what if, right, there is this chance, a high chance that a lot of people who believe in crypto because of the fundamental value and mainly because of its limited supply, especially in Bitcoin of 21 million, right? And it has been successful for more than 10 years now, and every day it's just basically adding more and more users on board. Every month is adding 1 million users, right? And today we already have some numbers ranging from 35 million to 60 million of holders of Bitcoin. So what does it mean then, especially in a world where we are heading towards hyperinflation, where things get expensive year on year, month on month? Why? Because government who controls the government kind of money, right, the fiat money we use today, they can print at any time they would like, and that leads to the value of our money basically is reducing very rapidly. Because if you have something too much supply, basically the value will be dropping drastically, and because of that, that makes something like Bitcoin very, very valuable. Why? And it just takes two people to accept Bitcoin as money, and then the transaction go through. And so far, it has, it has bring in more and more users. I've said it has 35 million to 60 million users already, and every month is adding more and more users, about 1 million per month, right? So adoption is definitely increasing, but at this point, we are still not seeing a lot of retail participation yet, right? And most likely, retail will only come in when prices are hitting over 10,000 or even close to 20,000 level. That's when they will come in. But that's probably, right, that may be the level where people have to be already careful to actually see if you can just take out a bit of profit just to cover your capital. So to the question that now it's already above 8,000, is this still the right time to go in if I have not gone in before? And my humble opinion, subjective opinion, is that yes, right? Yes. And again, how much to put in? You don't have to buy one whole Bitcoin if you cannot afford it, and if you should invest amount that not really the amount you're willing to lose, but if you really lose all that amount, you wouldn't be, crying, or you wouldn't be stressed, you wouldn't have to sweat over it, right? So to different people, it can be different amount. But the key here is not to say, to sell out totally to get out at 20,000 or even 50,000. No, right? To people who believe in the crypto, the strategy is really, right, in my humble opinion again, is really to hold on for the long term when prices hit 6-figure digits. That's the target that we are actually looking. So, but when numbers hit close to 20,000, that's the period where you really have to be watch out for videos like this to actually see should you, and my hypothesis is that when prices again reach such high level, close to 20,000, that's the time to actually take out the amount where your initial capital outlay. That means if you have invested, let's say today, if you can only invest 5,000 because you know you are okay to lose 5,000, meaning of course everyone's not okay to lose 5,000, but if you lose 5,000, you wouldn't be stressed over it. That means you wouldn't need to admit to the hospital, you wouldn't be crying, right? Of course you will feel bad, but treat it like you have gone for a nice holiday in your dreams, right? Or you have buy a nice handbag and give it to your loved ones, right? That's probably how the mindset should work. Actually, all in all, right, investment is really a mind game. Whoever has the strongest mindset will win this game. And then what's the strategy? So the strategy is probably to really be careful, and when it hit close to 20,000, right, that level, it's really to take out your initial capital. So that will be 5,000, right? And whatever else that you have invested, then you ride it to wait till it goes to 6-figure. But of course, by then you should still always look out to see if there is a certain price to take profit or not. But ultimately, the long-term goal is 6-figure. Why 6-figure? There are few hypotheses, and I will tell you it's very number based. One is if you just take 1% of all the wealth today, that means including real estate wealth, stock market cap, right, gold, bonds, right, loans, and deposits of all the deposits and all that. If you take 1% of that, right, and if you move that to Bitcoin, that is about 6 trillion. That's basically the numbers. And 6 trillion from today's 150 billion or so, that's about 40 to 50x that number. So that's one methodology, right? So basically, whatever 8,000, so just round it up to 8,000, right? I know it's above 8,000. 8,000, 50x, that's 400,000. Another way to look at it is, some people think, and a lot of people equate gold with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, a lot of people say, is a digital gold 2.0. Why is that? Because gold has been accepted for thousands of years, right? It is a very, very solid, sound money. It is a very good store of value. And even today, central banks have in their reserves gold. Why? Because it can really hold value, right? And it is a very hard form of money, meaning over time it doesn't corrode, but because of its limited supply, you can't simply produce it at will. Then that is why it gives it value, and that's why a lot of people love gold, right? But of course, there is still one downside to gold, is that it is not very easy to buy, right? It is not very easy to store, and definitely it is not very easy to transport across border, because if you have $1 million worth of gold, right, it is very, very heavy. And but if you have $1 million worth of Bitcoin, it is very easy. You can literally just remember all the passwords in your head, and you can just move across borders like that. So that is the plus side of Bitcoin. And of course, analogy by Winklevoss brothers is that Bitcoin is the software, whereas gold is the hardware, right? So in that case, it is very key, right? Then, so the other methodology is that if gold can be replaced by Bitcoin, then you're talking about 7 trillion worth of market cap in gold today, 7 to 8 trillion. So that's still, again, another 40 to 50x from the current market cap of Bitcoin of 150 billion. So then again, you're talking about 8,000, 50x, that's about 400,000. So we're always talking about 6-figure dollar per Bitcoin, right? And this is quite somewhat in the range of predictions by people like Tim Draper, right? The very famous venture capitalists who are the early investors into Skype, into Airbnb and so forth, right? Tesla, he's the one who also predicted a 250,000 again in 4 years' time. That's 2022. So all these numbers, right, somehow drive all together, right? So we're always looking at a 6-figure long-term target. That should be the eyeball that we are looking at, right? So do not be distracted. Do not be afraid. I know a lot of people, they check the prices every day, and then they basically, even let's say when prices hit 50,000, they are very, very keen to sell because they are worried, what if they don't sell and then the prices crash? Yes, I think in the short term you might see choppiness like this, where up, down, up, down, up, down, but no one really knows. But the thing is, the key to lock it in your mind is that we are aiming for really the long-term goal of 6 figures, right? Not all this short-term five figures numbers, right? That we shouldn't be settling for a 5-figure, right? We are talking about 6-figure. So ideally those numbers, right, even if you invest in 5,000 today, you're talking about 50 times that, that's still 250,000. Yeah, so very, very huge numbers. It can easily overtake, it can easily surpass a lot of your other investments in your total portfolio as well, and that gives you a very comfortable, outsized return. So how many other assets will give you that kind of asymmetric returns? That is among other arguments why people think it's still good price to go in now if you haven't invested. Yeah, but of course, they're always good to, if you want to be safe, one way is to invest in, right, a consistent amount, a small amount each month or each week, right? So then you kind of have an average price of your entry. That is also another way you can play it safe. Yeah, so yes, so that's what I think. But the other thing I really want to caution people is that because of the recent bull run that seems to be starting, there are a lot of scams again happening out there already. Among others, there's this free Bitcoin scam, and whereas at the end of the YouTube video there's a link, and then if you copy on that link, right, you actually are asked to then download and install a software, and then what it does is that this Trojan will then copy, it will go to all your history. It will check all your, copy links, all the things that you copy into your clipboard. It will check for similar patterns like passwords, right? Like the 32 digits, those strings of numbers and alphabets, right? That look similar like Bitcoin wallet address or crypto wallet address or passwords, right? And they basically steal those. So all this is going to happen. In fact, I also had an inquiry from a friend before, about 1 week ago, saying that they have been asked, right, to invest in a very, very small ICO called Boogle, Boogle, right? At first I didn't, I just did a quick search because I don't have much time, and then it seems that it's okay, but they have a very catchy clause that says their price of entry will be guaranteed at 1 cent. So basically, you won't lose your capital. That's the attractive entry. But when I had some time and I went to quickly look at their white paper, it is really, really a piece of junk. Why? There's no information of a lot of information, of course, claiming why they are different and so forth, mainly around decentralization. But there's no mention at all of their team members, who is the people behind this, right? And my friend, his boyfriend is even in thinking of actually investing his hard-earned money, that means quite a lot of it, into this project without knowing head or tail about this, and they don't even have Bitcoin, right? So this is the danger, and I think there are very, very good salesmen out there who are trying to sell you that, saying, oh, Bitcoin is now so expensive, why don't you look at something that is so cheap, right, that it can also 50x, because when Bitcoin 50x, all these small coins as well will 50x. That is the promise that they are selling you, and then with 1 cent you can invest a lot of money, and then your portfolio will be 50x many times, right? Because it's too expensive now to get into Bitcoin. But no, right? That is not true at all, because I believe that, right, not all coins are created equal. In fact, Bitcoin itself has already, it is a risky asset. As I said, it just has a still chance of going to zero. But all these other new coins, the chances of them going to zero is super high, right? It's almost like 98 or 100%. In fact, the one that I'm looking at is super high. I mean, if you don't even put the information of your team, both in your website and the white paper, that clearly tells you already something super fishy is going on, right? So, yeah, so that's the thing. So be very, very wary of scams now, right? I know it is so much easier for people to convince you to invest small amount into you can just invest small amount, let's say $1,000, and you can hold a big part of something so cheap, but the risk of losing that is super high as well. Yeah, it is not equal, right? Bitcoin has already more than 10 years of history. Institutions, if they are buying into it, they are buying into Bitcoin. All the major exchanges, when they are listing coins, they are only looking at Bitcoin, right? Look at back, they are only looking at offering a Bitcoin product only. So do not be fooled by all these scams that sound too good to be true, right? So that's all I have for today. You need to spread this message around, right? So if you have a friend who also consider any new ICOs, right? Be very sure, pass this message around, right? I mean, minimally look at their white paper. They should have a good track record of their team members, of who are the founders, what is their expertise, and also check again on Google search, independent search, to check on each of their founders to see whether their credential, the experience, is it true? Because we have seen projects in the past where even the founders, they put it in the white paper, the founders are actually, all the experience are actually again a fraud, right? So be very, very careful, pass this message around, and if you do like this, subscribe and leave a like, right? So for me to produce similar videos in the future, right? Yes, thank you so much for your time, and I wish you all the best.